gee, you got me now. Oh boy. So, pretty good line, so I'm kind of obsessed with it here. All right, so we were talking about Hess. And as you see, Hess is living in Germany around the time of Karl Marx. And he originally is somewhat in the mindset of a Karl Marx socialist sort of revolutionary person. And then somehow he gets a change of heart. I don't know. We left off about page 127 or so in my thing. Just pick up a few quotes before we move on to somebody else. I think you can read this yourself. Look, for instance, mission of Israel. But mark you, the restoration of the Jewish state will not deprive the world of even a single one of all these benefits, real or imagined, which the Jews and the dispersion, I'll put the word supposedly, confer on it. So it seems to me that the benefits that the Jews in exile supposedly confer, theirs supposedly have been exaggerated. Yeah, I would agree with him about 10,000%. They don't confer all this stuff that the Reformed Jews think that they're going to be talking about. And he speaks at the end of that section about being politically organized, which is very important. And page 128, the Jew who does not believe in the national regeneration of his people has only one task: to labor like the enlightened Christian for the dissolution of his religion. Anyway, I believe the national character, next section of Judaism, does not exclude universalism, etc., etc., etc. Let's see, for instance, on page 130, talking about being part of humanity. Nor can there be any objection to the universalist tendencies insofar as they endeavor to establish close relations among nations, but unfortunately this universalism has gone too far, both in life and science. So in his period, already the 1850s or 60s, he thinks that this universal brotherhood, etc., of mankind has extinguished the individual differences. He'd be surprised to find out what happened in the 20th century, I'm sure. It is against these encroachments of the most sacred principles of creative life, talking about Hegelianism, if you like, and the zeitgeist to be creative in time, that the national tendencies of our time are reacting, because it's a time of nationalist reactions, and of course that goes on into our centuries. 133, towards the Jewish restoration. Just picking out some interesting little passages. We can't do them all here. But what we have to do at present for the regeneration of the nation, Jewish nation, first is to keep alive the hope of political rebirth in our people. When political conditions in the Orient, meaning the East, shape themselves so as to permit the organization of a beginning of the restoration of a Jewish state, this beginning will express itself in the founding of Jewish colonies, etc. Well, he's got it exactly right. Now, when is this, not a right in terms of the right idea, a right in terms of what actually happened? And this is 1862. So he's 40 years ahead of Herzl. And he's already saying, at the time of our Civil War, that when the political conditions in the East, well, when did the political conditions begin to move in that direction? With the slow dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, which was falling apart as the 19th century progressed, and when the Ottoman Empire entered the First World War, of course, it lost all of these areas to Britain and France. I explained that to you last time. And then, of course, the increase in transportation, steamboats, rail, increasing communications, all those things led to the possibility of establishing a movement among a widely scattered people, whereas previously you wouldn't be able to do that. And he said first it would be small colonies, and he said France would probably lend a hand at that time, he thought. Well, we see that agricultural school, which is founded in the 1860s as well, as we saw in the Calendar material, is done by the group called the Alliance Française, which is not French government, but a Jewish group in France, you know, contributing to this financially. So the Alliance Française is like the, in America, you hear about the UJA, the United Jewish Appeal. They helped, they helped fund this agricultural station. And I told you, didn't make it clear last time, Herzl went around to all of the leading political figures from 1896 to 1900 or so, once he got called his Congress and got things moving. And he was received by everyone. Kaiser of Germany. And Kaiser was visiting Palestine, as I told you. And there we got diverted into all the German inroads into the east. And the Kaiser then, when he rode to Jerusalem from Jaffa, the coast, which is how you went, something like the Knights, Crusaders, if you saw that, did you see that movie recently that was done about the Crusading Knights and the Holy Land? They would always go from Jaffa up to Jerusalem. Anyway, he stood out. This was a place, you can see it today. It's on the road outside of Tel Aviv on the way to Jerusalem, this agricultural training station. And this is in 1900 or so. So that's where he chose to stand to greet the Kaiser as he went by and bow to him. I don't know, they didn't shake hands, obviously, but. So he talks about some article he's worried about here called the Near Eastern Question, which is, this is 150 years ago. It's pretty hard for us to imagine people were talking about these things then. 134. What European power would today oppose the plan that Jews united through a Congress, that's again what Herzl's idea is, have a Congress, should buy back their ancient homeland? Who would object to it, he says. Well, as it turned out, lots of people objected to it. Even today they object to it. So, and you think that they stole the land. They didn't steal the land. They bought the land from people who were not using it. And if you again, you say, well, weren't people using it? No, it was malaria-infested swamps and things. And they